Welcome back to another edition of the Wizard Shop. Today we're going to do an update on a couple of cars and actually show an introduction to a repair we're going to be doing on a car right after this. This is the 95 Lotus Esprit Turbo S4S that you guys have seen in the shop for quite a while now. We've recently got the engine running perfectly, everything's back together, and the owner has actually driven it, but there were some pre-existing transmission issues or clutch issues that he was having, and he wants those addressed before he takes delivery of the vehicle. We have already pulled the transmission out, and there's some issues with the clutch, and also there were some minor issues with the transmission, some seals and things. He's actually come and picked up the transmission and took it with him. He wants to clean it all and put the seals in and take care of a few small issues. Then he's going to give it back. We'll put it in with the new clutch, and this car will finally be done. Let's take a look. The owner, Bill, you guys have seen him in previous videos. He's actually a good friend of mine, and being a customer and eventually turned into a friend. So that happens occasionally. I really like those scenarios. As you can see down here, the transmission is gone. Bill actually has the transmission with him right now. But there's some seals that these axles go into. He's going to replace those seals, and he's also going to replace a gasket and a few other little things and clean the transmission up, and he's going to give it back to me. And while we're waiting, we're going to put a new pressure plate, new clutch disc, and get all that taken care of. So it'll be ready for the transmission when he gets done with it, and this car will be done. It's been a long road to get here, and unfortunately it's been waiting on parts. Even the owner who owns this car is getting frustrated with the car. Not so much the car, really, it's the parts situation. He's just about pulling his hair out. It's like every time we need a part, it's 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. It's just, there's only certain places you can get parts for this car. I've actually had better luck getting parts for Ferraris and Lamborghinis than this thing. I can have a part here in a couple of days, 2 or 3 days on a Lamborghini. I got a serpentine belt for the Murcielago behind me in 2 days. That's not going to happen on this thing. I don't know why it's that way. He's been getting a lot of the parts to save me a lot of the trouble and headache, so I haven't had to mess with it, thankfully. But it's quite a fiasco. So that's where we're at on the Lotus. We're actually very close to the finish line on this, and I'll be happy to get it out of here just as well as he'll be happy to get his car back running and functional again. Let's go take a look at the Audi that we just finished. So here's the 2012 Audi Q5 that you guys just recently saw a video on where we put a whole new turbocharger on it. We're going to go drive it today and show you the difference in acceleration and things of that nature, and that the car is fixed. It's finally done. But let's take a look under the hood and see what the new turbo looks like installed. Let's get the cover out of here. You can take a look down there and see a brand new turbo. All the lines hooked up, everything's ready to go. This is going to make this car back to the way it was for her, with the power that it had, and minus the check engine light, the annoying amber glow of a check engine light. Okay, let's go ahead and get this back on. Let's go take it for a spin. A lot of you in the comments section said a lot of negative things about Audi, and I kind of agree with you. There can be a lot of negative things said about them, but there is one positive thing they always get right, and that is the interior. They really know how to make an interior, and they know how to make the perfect smells. I'm a big interior smell guy, and they usually get it right. I wish they could get the engines right. They make a really wonderful interior on their cars. Get my seat belt on. Alright, here we go. Okay guys, we're going to just start right here and do an acceleration run. We're not going to break the speed limit, but we're going to just test this thing out. Oh yeah, that's much better. Before, the turbo wouldn't have even kicked in by the time I got to the speed limit, but I could feel that it had really started pushing some boost through before I got to the speed limit. Much better improvement on the power. I'm really happy about that. We'll get out of town here and get up to where there's a higher speed limit and try it out that way. Okay, we're outside of town now. We'll give it a better run here. much better. Yep, she's definitely going to be happy with this, and the fact that there's no check engine light. We'll do a couple more runs here, and then we'll head back to the shop and we'll check for codes and see what's going on. Before, even if I cleared the codes, as soon as I did 1 or 2 acceleration runs, the check engine light was right back on again. The computer knew the turbo is not performing up to task. We'll see if it comes on, or any codes, pending codes or anything of that nature, as soon as we get back to the shop. Okay guys, one more run for the road. Let's do it. Okay, we just did 3 strong acceleration runs. If the computer is not happy with the turbo, it will let us know right away. If there's any issues with the turbocharging system, boost leaks or anything, we will know as soon as we get back to the shop. I have already road tested this and watched the data PIDs, the desired boost versus the actual boost, and it matches perfectly the whole way through, so that part is good. I know that part's good. Here's Mrs. Wizard's 2015 Land Rover Discovery Sport. Very cool car. Much better appointed than this one. There's War Turtle. As you can tell, when we drove in, we got quite a full house in here. It's been very busy this week, and I'm glad for that. Helps pay Michael's and Junior Mint's and Crazy D's payroll. This is a little Creator CRP 123. I call it the crap 123. It's actually not a piece of crap. When a customer comes in and says, I just need to read my check engine light, that's it. I don't need to break out my huge expensive systems. This just checks the codes real quick and gives me an idea of what's going on. So I'll have a seat in here and we'll check the codes. I got the door closed so there's no bonging noises. With the 3 hard runs we went on, if there's any issues, there will be codes. Audis are known for that. They give you codes really fast. They have almost 0 tolerance for anything outside of normal. Let's see what we got here. Read codes. No fault codes in ECU1. No fault codes on either ECU. We got it. It's happy again. Like I said, I already checked the data PIDs, the actual versus the desired boost, and throughout the whole range it matches perfectly. And that's also re-verified by no codes. So we're ready to deliver this back to the customer, and it's payday time to get paid. So that's where we're at on this one. We're done. There's another Audi in the shop that I want to show you guys. Let's go take a look. So this is a 2006 Audi A3 with a 2-liter as well, but it's not having turbo problems. It has really bad oil leaks. It actually has pretty high miles, it's like 240,000 or more. And these people are fed up with the oil leaks. They want it fixed. I think they may have tried to fix it before and they just can't get it. And I'm going to show you guys why it can be an issue to do the oil leaks on these. Let's take a look. So we did find on this vehicle that the valve cover is leaking really bad. This is a 2-piece style valve cover design. Normally, each individual cap on the camshaft, the little caps that hold it in place, are just little individual caps, just like I mentioned. But this is like a cradle, and it also can leak oil. So it's easy to say this needs a valve cover gasket. So you take the valve cover off, you replace the gasket, and you put it back on. And it still leaks oil like a sieve all over the side of your engine. You're like, what the heck? I just put a new valve cover gasket on. You didn't solve the problem. The problem is not this gasket. Let's move this out of the way. The problem is the cradle that the gasket mounts to. As you can see, this orange silicone that goes all the way around the whole thing. That is where our oil leak is, and it's just literally, especially out the back, it's just pouring out. You can see the gasket in here with my finger. I can touch it. It's already starting to separate. It's just silicone. That's what they would have used at the factory. But what you have to do is you have to take the timing gear off, because you can see this fits down inside of it right here. You can't just pull straight up. We're going to remove this cradle, cam cradle, reseal it, put it back on, then put our upper half of the valve cover on, and that will take care of the leak. So I knew doing this job that the timing gear is going to have to come off, and it'll make it easy to get the cradle off. And that came to mind the question, when was the last time the timing belt was done? Because that's where we're going to be to do this job. With 240 some odd thousand miles on it, it's really a question to ask. And when we presented that question to the owner of this car, when was the last time the timing belt was done? The answer was, I have no clue. I'm definitely not letting this car back out the door without doing the timing belt. Before we even did the job, I told the customer, if we're not doing the timing belt, we're going to skip the entire job, because it'll be, the timing belt gives way, the engine gets damaged, and then the question is, why didn't we address that while it was apart?
The car has 200,000 miles on it. Is it really a good idea with such a high mileage car?
It runs okay, it runs and drives fine. If we get that addressed and taken care of, they could get some more mileage out of it, but that is a good question. I don't know many A3s that have 300,000 miles on them, because they usually get to the point where there's so many electrical issues and so many things wrong that people just abandon them. They're like, I'm done with this. Every time I turn around, it's 500 here, 800 there, 600 there. One good thing, when I took the valve cover off, the upper valve cover, it's clean in there. I could tell it's been maintained. It's not sludged up. It's not a bunch of carbon deposits inside of there. It's very clean. I think if we get the timing belt done and take care of this oil leak, they could get quite a bit more mileage out of this car and enjoy this car before it's time to do something else or get another vehicle. But like I said, I wouldn't be interested in doing the cam cradle reseal unless we're doing the timing belt. The customer agreed and said, go ahead, so that's what we're doing. Let's take a look at the timing belt. This timing belt is a fairly simple one. It just has one single cam gear, and it has the water pump we're going to be changing out right there. Basically like a Volkswagen, that's basically what it is. There's the tensioner and two idlers. It's a very, very simple timing belt. Way less complex than the timing chains that we just saw on the Jag. This is a much easier and cheaper job. They usually say in a shop things come in threes: water pumps, power steering pumps. It seems like the theme of this month has been timing chains and timing belts. And this month has been more than three. It's been more like 5. We've been getting cars in as timing chain time or timing belt time, and it's like, yep, go ahead, yep, let's do it, which is great. I'm not complaining, but it's just odd that it's all clustered into one month. And even Michael, who's a new employee here, is like, man, I've done timing chain. It's like, yeah, I know, but hey, it pays the bills. I guess June of 2020 is timing belt, timing chain month. It must be, so. And if that's what it's got to be, then that's what we'll do. We'll take care of it and get these people all back on the road. And one last thing before we close this out. Here is War Turtle. The headliner is dry and ready to go back in. We just need to find time to do that. I had actually let Michael take that all down for me. And I'll probably let him put it back in because he will be familiar with the way he got everything apart. But as I've said many times in videos before, making money is way more important than spending money. This is my personal car, and that's spending money. I'm paying Michael to put it in, that's losing money. And if a job comes in and we can make some money, War Turtle is just going to have to sit and wait.
Car Wizard, can you wrap this up? We've got a birthday party to go to. Our daughter is turning 19. 19.
This is not the one that crashed the Prelude.
No, this is the one with the Toyota Prius.
Yep, it's been a very good Prius. It's been very good for her. So if you're curious what kind of tools I use in the shop, check my links below. There's an Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We've got many cool tools for sale there. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, go ahead and do that now. We've got many more cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.